Hi there, I'm Phil. And in these Essential Movies videos, I take a spoiler-free look at a film that I think every film lover and budding filmmaker should check out. Today, we're looking at both Alien and Aliens. I include the first two Alien films in this because I think you need to see both of them. They're both essential movies. But we'll start with the first, Alien, from 1979, directed by Ridley Scott. This was Ridley Scott's second feature film. Prior to this, he'd made The Duelist, which was a very low-budget film.
And I storyboarded the movie, and then I took it back with me. It's this thick and like this. And the budget was $4.2 million. The Duelist was $800,000. I went back and we doubled the budget. We went straight to 8.6. It just shows the power of a little bit of pen on paper. Because they went, wow, because they had no idea what could be done.
There's a whole saga about the screenplay for this film, originally written by Dan O'Bannon and Ronald Suchet. But I'm not going to go into the dramas around that. Dan O'Bannon gets key screenwriting credit in the film, but the producers of the film were also instrumental in helping to develop the screenplay. That said, they ultimately ended up with a great script, but it wasn't until Ridley Scott came on that it really became an A-list film. And Ridley Scott, of course, was not the Ridley Scott we know today. This was his second film, as I said. He was not a well-known director. This is the one that made him a major A-list director, turning what was thought to be a B movie, a low-budget space opera horror film, into an A-list blockbuster.
I think we ought to discuss the bonus situation.
Right.
Brett and I, we think we deserve full shares, right, baby?
You see, Mr. Park and I feel that the bonus situation has never been on an equitable level.
Well, you get what you contracted for like everybody else.
Yes, but everybody else gets more than us.
Fortunately for the filmmakers, Brandywine is the company that made it, Star Wars had just come out. And that proved that films of this kind could do very well with an audience. If it had not been for Star Wars, this film would probably not have been greenlit. Without giving too much away, of course, it is a blending of two genres, science fiction and horror. This is essentially a cabin in the woods story set in space, set aboard the Nostromo, which is a mining ship. It's essentially truckers in space. That's how it was pitched. And in fact, the tagline on the poster, "In space, no one can hear you scream," has become one of the most famous taglines for any movie. And the trailer for the film, which I'll link to down below, is one of the best trailers of its kind because it doesn't tell you anything really about the story, certainly doesn't show you an alien, but it makes you want to go and see the movie. So the film, of course, was a massive hit at the time, and it made Sigourney Weaver a star. So therefore, a sequel was inevitable.
You're going out there to destroy them, right? Not to study, not to bring back, but to wipe them out.
That's the plan.
Aliens was written and directed by James Cameron, who again was not a major star director yet, although he'd made two feature films prior to this, Piranha 2, The Spawning, and then, most famously, the first Terminator film. Aliens was his third feature film.
I didn't think I could outdo Alien for pure shock. The wonder and then the sudden shock and terror that film created, you can't beat that. So I had to come up with an end run around that would be equally entertaining for an audience, but in a different way. And I knew I could do action. I knew I could do white knuckle action, that I could turn the screw tighter and tighter in an action sequence. So I figured, all right, let's do that.
Aliens becomes a genre blend of science fiction and action. It stands alone as a sci-fi action film. It's a different kind of film within that same world. And like any good sequel, it is the same but different. It honors the first while adding something new and developing the story, and especially the central character of Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver, who by this time, of course, now was a major star.
Where you want it?
Bay 12, please.
The later films in the Alien franchise are also worth watching, but these are the two in particular that if you don't watch anything else, watch these two. After all, Alien 3 was one of David Fincher's first films, worth checking out for that reason alone. So check out Alien and Aliens, directed by Ridley Scott and James Cameron respectively. If you like these kinds of videos, you know what to do. If you'd like to learn more about filmmaking, check out my book linked below. And if you'd like to see some videos like this that I can't release on YouTube, check out my Patreon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.